everyone, welcome back to my channel. Since our whole family is still home for COVID, if you're watching this later, hi, this is a budget with me during COVID. I'm filming this and just doing a voiceover. It's a little bit longer of a process for me, but because I have to find a quiet time to do the voiceover, I have to make it work. Today I'm going to walk you through our April 15th paycheck. If you're new to my videos, we work off of a monthly income paid on the 15th of each month. So while I don't do a monthly budget following the calendar month, I do a monthly budget following our paycheck schedules. What you're seeing there is our March 15th paycheck review. Don't worry, I filmed that too. It will be up a little bit later and I'll update the description box when it's loaded. So I'm going to remove these Post-its and set them aside. I need them as a reminder in a little bit. And I'm going to start by dating the calendar. The pages that I'm using are to a workbook I created. It's an undated digital download that you can customize by printing off what pages you need in whatever order you'll need, and I'll leave a link to it below. But a forewarning, this budget with me is a little all over the place. I get interrupted a few times, I have to leave and split up some arguments and answer some questions and help with Zoom classes. So I do go back and fill things in, but it gets done. So at the bottom of each calendar, I like to notate what we spent on food and fuel that pay month, as well as how much we saved. So here at the bottom of April, I'm just writing in what we spent on categories between the middle of March and the middle of April. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to use the Stabilo highlighters to mark when our bills are due. I like these because they're bright and they don't bleed that much. I do use 28-pound paper. It's a little thicker than normal printer paper. I'll link that below too. Now for when I'm marking my bills, I don't have a set color coding system. I just rotate through 3 different colors, blue, purple, and pink, for the paychecks. That way I can easily see which bills are coming from which paycheck. I do have a color coding system for some of our budget categories, but I'll get to that a little bit later. So then I marked in payday with a sticker from one of the Happy Planner budgeting sticker books, as well as a quote sticker. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And now I'm just writing in what bills are due on each of the days. I'm going to check here to see when our newest therapy appointment is scheduled for. We had just scheduled it that morning after their Zoom sessions. I feel like my life is currently revolving around Zoom, and our Verizon internet is absolutely horrid for this. And now I'm just transferring some of the upcoming stuff for May, and I'm going to check our year at a glance to see if there's anything else that I need to remember that's upcoming. So I need to start keeping an eye out for my Nelnet recertification, and I'm expecting another propane delivery. In June, I have our AAA bill coming up. This is something I still do while we are in debt repayment. We live so rurally that if we were to break down, the towing bill alone would be more than our annual AAA membership cost. I know this because when I hit a deer last year, it was an insane towing expense. Now granted, because I hit a deer, the insurance paid for it because it was attached to the claim, but there were instances when one of our cars a while back needed towed because we threw a rod in the engine. And also upcoming are my car inspection, and I'm marking a note here because our 100,000 mile maintenance is coming up. Also, A's trumpet needs cleaned and there's a trash bill and our septic is being pumped. Now next I'm going to go through and set up our debt account list and our net worth list. I usually don't share these, but today I am because time was of the essence and I was able to sit down and do this. I was going to take full advantage of it and do as much as I could. Now naturally, I've never shared numbers or totals before, and I'm not going to start sharing them now, just the names. Yes, I am showing you this for May's setup because April's already has some numbers filled in, such as our mortgage balance, student loans, etc. So I'm showing you a clean slate setup. So O's Clarinet is the next to be paid off, and ironically I can't. They're non-essential and currently not open. This will go the first chance I get. In the meantime, that is our debt payoff order from smallest to largest. Semi-following the snowball method, we're taking into consideration the interest rates on some of them as well. So it's not a true snowball order. For net worth, I like to calculate it once per month on payday. I just started this year, so I am in no means an expert on it. I do know that there's some debate about whether you include liabilities into your assets, and my stance is yes. I do include our house and our car loans in our debts and assets. The reason is, one, it helps me see what each is worth. Like, my car is worth less than the current loan, and that's just based on our mileage because we drive a lot. But the main reason I include it is because those are items that I could potentially sell for the amount that they're worth. We could sell the house when we move and make more than what our current mortgage is worth. Okay, so that's getting the end of May set up. Like I said, since we are paid once a month, I only use one paycheck budgeting worksheet, so I'm dating this April 15th to May 14th. When we were paid weekly, I would have used a sheet for each weekly paycheck. And nope, going back to put those spaces in for the pay month of groceries, fuel, and savings. Okay, so getting back to this now, our budget for the April 15th paycheck, I'm including Hubs' normal income. We haven't gotten any notification yet that he's been unemployed, and as of this recording, the state is planning to release certain jobs within his industry that can get started, so it sounds like he's going to go back to work soon, except from his truck, not the office, so he'll be, trucking home. I'm including some of the overages from last month. You'll see in the budget review. I didn't make our marching band Disney payment. We've had some internet issues, and he did say if there was hardship, it could be pushed back. And my license renewal, our state has set a deadline to the end of April, but mine expires 4 days after that deadline, so I don't know what's going on yet. And I can't go to the DMV because they're closed. I also decided to show you this month how I'm including sinking funds in our budget. Well, this is kind of for you and for me. The kids are home and I need the blatant neon orange reminder. Our income from our non-monthly sinking fund this month is going to be about $365, or the amount that our county tax payment is. And also there's going to be some money from our tax refund for a Wayfair purchase. As you can probably see, I have a new background, which is a new desk. Since Hubs is now working from home, as the office is off limits and we are limited on space, we have a 1-story ranch house. He took my desk and I bought a corner desk. It's something I've wanted for our bedroom for a while, so I can just kind of shut the door and work, but that doesn't work. The kids find me, I'm hunted out. So we still got a corner desk, but we put it in our dining room. We removed the pellet stove that was in the dining room since we've bought the house. We've never used it. We just moved it out to the garage for now, and that is where my desk now is. So our sinking funds haven't changed at all, and don't worry about the totals. I'm going to go through and add all of them up later. Our cash envelopes are going to be on debit again. It was nice to be able to just reallocate money right away. For instance, fuel I use on the debit card, and groceries we normally take out in cash. And so any surplus that we had from not spending it in fuel was already in the bank, already in debit. As I've mentioned before, if this is your first video, I've mentioned before, we don't have a physical location for our bank near us. It's 2 hours away. So when we take out cash, it's usually as cash back at like Target or something, or it's at an ATM. We're supposed to be very busy, and as I've learned in the past, debit just works very nicely for that season of life for us. Plus, Hubs did most of the shopping this past month. He does much better with debit than cash. He was able to stick to a spending limit. This is the color coding part I was talking about earlier. I like to use some of the more pastel colors from the Stabilo pack for budget categories such as food and fuel and so on. And they correspond to the colors I use on our expense tracker. It makes it much easier in my head when the colors are all the same. Septic is only $40 this month because A gave me back 10 that was for a field trip at the end of March that they didn't go on, so I stuck it in the septic envelope. I think after this we only have another $30 to go before we reach our goal, and I'm reaching it early, which is awesome. Food, I've raised the amount again. Like I said, I haven't been out to stores lately, but I do know that what we have available is limited and it's not what we would normally get, so some things we're having to change brands. Plus, with all 5 of us home, we're gonna have a slightly higher bill than we would normally. Chewy this month is a little more than usual. I've added in a few more dog toys to this order since I'm not able to go to the stores with our puppy and let her pick a toy. She's a lab basset mix and she tends to destroy anything in her path, so I need to spend a little bit more on some toys that I know are going to last a little bit longer than most of those fluffy stuffing filled ones. I also increased our miscellaneous category by a little bit this month since we did some odd projects around the house that were going to be done this summer, but everybody's home and we have the time now. Fuel, I'm leaving at $150. I know that we spent less than $70 last month, but I'm still leaving that buffer in there because I know that we have orthodontist appointments and dentist appointments that are scheduled for the beginning of May, and I don't know if they're still going to be closed, which means I don't know if we're going to have any more driving than what we've already had. There are also some therapy appointments scheduled in May that we may be driving for. They may not be done as Zoom sessions. I don't know, hence the buffer. Dance, I'm leaving at $185 for now as well. We may be in the dance studio this month, we may not, I don't know. It's just better to plan for it than to not have it. Therapy, I'm estimating how many appointments there will be. We seem to be going weekly for the most part with the occasional 2-week intervals. So for this paycheck, I'm estimating 6 sessions, 3 for each of my boys. This is based on what they're each going for, and these aren't something I'm going to drop from our budget anytime soon. Down at the bottom here, I'm making a note of what is being paid on my Chase. So the normal monthly amount from the month's budget is what is under budgeted, but the actual payment will be different, and I'm making a note of that down here. I don't put our bank card in anything online, such as on Chewy or on the website that the marching band is using for a Disney payment. We've had our debit card numbers swiped too many times for me to feel comfortable with using them. So we use our credit card, and whatever we put on the card, we make sure to pay the new purchases off. This goes against some debt repayment teachings, but this is just what we are comfortable with. You have to make your personal finance work for you personally, and this is what works for us. And now I'm going to go through and figure out what our estimated amount to savings will be this month. If Hubs truly does go back to work, I'm going to take what we saved from our March paycheck and from this paycheck and throw it at the next debt in line that I can actually pay off. But until then, this is going to go to savings. So for now, I'm estimating about $352 and change will be our overage. This is going to change depending on what actually gets spent. If the dance studio is closed this month again, that $185 is going to be added into the overage. And so then I'm going to go through and set up our cashless trackers for the month. These are in my shop as well, which is linked below. I really enjoyed using the cash envelopes for our receipts last month with our cashless method. But since I have so many of these printed from taking photos for my Etsy shop, I'm just going to use them so that they don't go to waste. So fuel, pet, household, and miscellaneous, the 5 categories that I really need to track our spending in this month. These are the 5 categories that are pretty average. Once we start paying for back to school stuff, I'll start tracking that as well. So that's it for setting up our budget for our April 15th paycheck. Thank you so much for watching. I'm thinking of you all, and I'm hoping that you're all staying healthy. And until next time, bye.